What's going on, YouTube? This is Jamie here for Wilson's Gaming. Today we're going to be looking at Kingdom Come Deliverance on the Xbox One X, and I'm going to give you my rough impressions of what I think about the first 2 hours of gameplay. And before we get started with the first impressions, make sure you press like and subscribe. That will help this channel out tremendously. Alright, let's do this. The game was released February 13th, 2018, developed and published by Warhorse Studios. And the game is a story-driven open-world RPG that immerses you in an epic adventure in the Holy Roman Empire. Avenge your parents' death as you battle invading forces, go on game-changing quests, and make influential choices. So the backdrop of the story is pretty simple. There's a power struggle going on after the death of an emperor of the Holy Roman Empire, and he has a son that succeeds him, but he sucks at his job pretty much, and his half-brother takes advantage of the divisions that his brother is causing and begins to do a power play to take the throne for himself.
Henry, get up now.
So this is where we meet Henry. He's a son of a respected blacksmith, and this is the character that you play as. Unlike most modern RPGs where they're mostly fantasy, this is a historical down to planet Earth kind. There's no magic or customization of Henry's body, face, gender, etc. You're Henry, son of a blacksmith, and that's it. So when you begin playing as Henry, you're given a few dialogue options that help kickstart the character's personality, and that's all based on your preference. So if you're trying to explain to Henry's mother what you did last night, you can say, hey, I was chatting in the tavern, and that will unlock the speech skill. Or you were chatting to Bianca as a way to express your vitality.
Talking, were you? That's what you call it, is it?
Come here, I need your help.
The game is stated as being open world, but you're not let loose entirely in the beginning. You receive quests and you complete them as they are tutorials that will introduce you to the mechanics of the game. For example, you get introduced to the simple map, which let you mark locations and view objectives when hovering over the lettered quest waypoint. Here and there you'll get hint tooltips, but they're usually not intrusive. There are some systems that are not explained right away, but hopefully they will show more of that as I continue on in the game. The controls for the game is not bad. The movement and turning is very smooth. Using the B button to sprint is surprisingly fluid, and it doesn't feel clunky. None of the controls or the buttons feel like they are in the way. It feels just right.
Maybe you'd like to try out the latest German fashion.
Fucker! I'll make you pay for that.
When being introduced to combat, it was daunting seeing the screen pop up for it. No worries though, it will click easy. Right trigger is a heavy attack, and right bumper is reserved for faster or stabbing attacks. And left bumper is your blocking move, and left trigger is a kicking move. You control the right thumbstick to tell the console where you're landing your hits on your target's body. And you have to watch out for things like stamina and for injuries, and you'll get indications on the left hand side of the status bar. So I had a brief training session with a sword. I haven't included that in this video, but melee fighting and sword fighting is about the same, and I think it may be different with different types of weapons. I'm not too sure, but so far my impressions with combat is pretty good. It seems fluid enough, and it performs pretty well on the Xbox One X.
Damn it, lads. What do you think you're playing at? Are you trying to get yourselves in trouble?
So the voiceover work isn't that bad. I really don't know too much about the history of this area, but a lot of the voiceover work is in like a UK English accent. It's pretty cool, and, you know, I like it. There are some instances that are cringeworthy though, and that is what you're gonna see right now.
This whole house is covered in shit.
God save, my lovely. You're looking well today.
You too, handsome. What brings you here?
Your beauty, of course.
Oh, noble sir. I'm as honored as any simple maid can be. And apart from my beauty, what else might your worship desire?
So yeah, there are a few other cringeworthy moments in my very brief playthrough of this so far, but for the most part, the conversations with NPCs are pretty funny actually. It has its own charm. You know, Skyrim had its own charm, and this game definitely has its own. I find a lot of the conversations pretty funny, and I know the game is not trying to be funny at times, but it just comes out funny to me. It's hard to explain. Let's show you this clip.
Here you are.
Thanks.
It's on me today. You can pay me back this evening.
Out of the question. Here you go. And this evening I'll have something more for you.
I can't wait.
Thanks. You'll have something to look forward to this evening.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, the graphics. Graphics are pretty damn good. And this is running at 1440p on the Xbox One X. Without HDR, and there's a limitation with the engine running this game, so it will not support HDR, which is a shame. It's a pretty game. Textures are really nice, and the character models are okay. You can tell the developers took their time crafting this world, and I believe the map is smaller than most games like Skyrim, but the developers took their times to handcraft and make the world denser. So there's a whole lot to do and a lot of things to discover.
What does the inscription mean? Damned if I know. Doesn't look like Czech to me. Latin, maybe? Lord
So from what I can see in the story so far, without trying to spoil it, is Henry is a young man who wants to set out into the world. It's a classic trope, and it's perfect because you are playing a nobody, and you are going to be driving Henry. You're going to be driving this character along, and that is perfect role playing in my opinion. So I'm very interested to see how far I can take Henry and what I can do with his skills or whatnot. But for the 2 hours I have played it, I haven't been able to do anything as far as customizing his skills.
He was in a hurry. What's happened?
So the question is, should he buy it? Yeah, I think you should check it out, guys. At least check it out. Think for yourself, you know, if this is going to be the right game for you. Again, this isn't, you know, Skyrim or Oblivion or Dragon Age. This is basically down-to-earth history role-playing, and you don't really see many games like this these days. So if you like this video, press like, press subscribe, and check me out for further content. Alright, peace out.
Hmm.